Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is me, your English language instructor Muhammad Hasnain, once again with all of you people. And today I'm bringing you once again to what? Our 30 days crash course, in which you are going to be learning how to do great pronunciation, how to have good grammar, maybe about articles and many more things that we have studied in the past. So today is our day 5. And we are going to be learning something very important for all of us. We have learned in the past about what is the most basic structure of a sentence, which, if you don't remember, was object plus verb plus subject. That is the passive voice and inactive voice, subject plus object plus subject plus verb plus object. That is what our structure is. After that, we learned a little bit more in depth about what articles are and what they work as, and then we learned a little bit about the pronunciation, vowels, and the articles, specifically a, an, and a. We learned about those two, and we also learned about positive, negative, interrogative, and these type of sentences. We learned about WH questions, and today we are going to be learning about vocabulary building skills. So if you don't know what vocabulary is, vocabularies are words. Like, we always have words, you know that very well. And so any word that is in English language and is difficult, except for names sometimes maybe actions, but usually it's not names, it's either adjective or either verb. We have these. In Urdu we also have vocabulary that is difficult. We have Pashto vocabulary, we have regional vocabularies, and national countries language which has vocabulary. But in English, the words that are difficult are known as vocabulary. Just think of English language being a kind of war that you are playing as. There is this war of language in which you are on the side of English language. And in English language war, there are a few things that you need. Number 1, vocabulary. Number 2, pronunciation. Number 3, grammar. And number 4, finally, the 4 main pillars, which is speaking, listening, writing, and speaking. These speaking, listening, writing, and speaking is your body armor, which saves you, like metal armor, etc. There is then grammar, which is your sword. Then there is vocabulary, which is your shield, and pronunciation, which is your agility, your properties, or whatever you want to call it. But simply, you can say your horse, for example. So these are the few things that make you complete, that make a language complete. So with us, we have a few vocabularies. First of all, how many of you know about this word? Is this a vocabulary? You may ask yourself, is this a vocabulary? Let me ask you. Most of you will say, no, Hasnain, this is a common word. This is not a difficult one. But actually, vocabulary is difficult for any language. If there is any language with us that is a bit difficult, that we do not understand, so for that reason, we use vocabulary for very, very beginners, for like children. For example, for them of nursery children, this is a very difficult vocabulary. They do not know its meaning. They do not know its spelling. So for them, this is a vocabulary. For example, for me, if somebody comes and says supercalifragilisticexpialidocious or majestically fantastical, so this would be a bit tough for me, but still I would understand it, because what am I? I'm an expert. And now for you people, there might be some vocabulary that are pretty tough. For example, you may have words like explicit. You may have exquisite. Now you may ask yourself, what is the difference between these two? They look the same. So in my next class, which is going to be about something else, we are going to learn some differences. So exquisite. What is this? These are vocabulary. Explicit means something that you need a clear description of, or if you want to have a detailed answer. So you can say, give me your explicit name, means give me your clear and detailed name. Like if your name is Hasnain and if your name is Muhammad Hasnain Khan, and if you tell a person that my name is Hasnain, so he will ask you, give me your explicit name. So you will say, my full name is, or my explicit name is Muhammad Hasnain Khan. My name isn't Muhammad Hasnain Khan, I am Muhammad Hasnain, only and only. Okay? So exquisite means special, rare, and extravagant. There are many vocabularies you can have out there. So simply, what are vocabulary? Difficult words for different levels. It can be regarding age, it can be regarding level, it can be regarding knowledge. It can have regarding this. So let's finally understand how to build vocabulary, because this is the main question that we had here. So the first way, or the most important way I learned vocabulary, my personal experience of course, is by, I know you people, if I say this now, you are going to criticize me a lot. But it's the reality. I know you all people watch this, you all people see these things. but still you're going to criticize, so I'm going to say it anyways. Number 1, movies. Movies and TV shows. So, I have a question from you people. Don't you people like entertainment? I've seen lots of students when I tell them that watch shows, watch TEDx shows, watch podcasts, watch for example table talks of journalists. So they usually say this, sir, that's not enjoyable, we do not want to see those things, they aren't enjoyable. So let me ask from you, do you enjoy watching boring, adult, elder things? Do you like watching that? No, of course not. So just don't criticize me. I know some movies are good, some are bad. So you can watch the good ones and learn some good vocabulary. You can have some subtitles through which you can read the words, write it in your notebooks, note those words, and you will have them with yourself. So you have movies and shows. After that, finally, in movies and shows, there is a better option, which is documentaries. There are many different historical shows, many different other type of shows. You have those which are better, 1,000 times better than movie and TV shows. And if you are a person of religion and a man of culture and you do not want to see things that are not pretty Islamic, so for that reason you can watch different preachings of different preachers of Islam. You can watch, even you can read the whole Quran's translation to English. There are many difficult words in the Quran actually. I didn't know that until I read it myself. So you guys can also watch that and read the translation of Quran or see some bayans, etc. of some muftis from abroad. So number 2, do not memorize it. Do not memorize. Or in more simple words, I'm not going to say the full thing because that is a long line and it's going to probably go out. So in simple words, do not just memorize it. Just don't. You do not need to write it. You do not need to memorize it. It's simple. Why should you memorize something that you cannot, in the future you will not understand or you will forget in the future? Just go through with it and use those words in your daily life. For example, if you are giving somebody a compliment, that you are a very extravagant person and a very outgoing person, and I really like that that personality of yours. It's amazing, it's magnificent, it's fantastic. So if you give these compliments, the person will also feel happy. You will use your language. You can also praise your mother in English language. She will feel better, and you will also use your English language. So probably your mother won't understand it, so for that reason you have another way. You can use these compliments and give it to other people who understand, and if there are no such people, so you can say, for example, if your mother is cooking, so in your regional language, like my regional language is Pashto, so I can tell my mother, you created it very tasty, delicious. So slowly but surely she will also understand that the meaning of these words like tasty and delicious means or in Urdu we say बहुत ज़्यादा लजीज, जिस तरह हम कहते हैं. तो वो खुद ब खुद थोड़ा थोड़ा सा समझेंगी और वो थोड़ा थोड़ा सा आपके साथ आगे जाएंगे. So what was the word that I said? Delicious. If you do not know the meaning, keep yourself with it. Do not write it, use it with yourself. My first vocabulary was the word nightmare. The word nightmare. And I just wrote it with myself a few times. After that I read it again and again, and after that finally I started to remember it. Now so let's go towards the third one. There is the second one with us, but that's too much long, so let's go to the third one. Write and read. I call this the write and read technique. This is my personal technique. Write and read. You do not always have to just keep it in one card and just have it like this. Oh, I have a card. I have this and that. You do not need to do that, of course. What you need, what you really and really need is a technique. I have the best technique for you, which is the write and read technique that I invented personally. If you do not know who I am, so I am an English language teacher and kind of like a critic. I'm not that much expert of English language, but you can call me one of those people. But finally, what is write and read technique? What I used to do is, for example, if there is a word like exotic, exotic. So I used to write it with me 5 times, and then I used to read it 5 times, then make a sentence with the word, and after that, done. You will remember the word exotic, exotic, exotic. You will also remember the spelling with it, exotic and exotic. Now read it 5 times, all of these 5 times. Exotic, exotic, exotic is exotic, 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 exotic is exotic. So finally, it becomes a tongue twister after some time, so do not mind that. I will bring a topic about tongue twisters. So when you read this 5 times, this whole group 5 times, and after that you make a sentence. I have a very exotic and rare dish in my home that my mother makes. For example, you write that sentence, you will remember the word for the rest of your life. You will not have a problem with remembering the word. For example, as I did, read this whole group, not only one word, not 5 times. This whole group 5 times. When you read it this much and write it this much, and after that make a sentence with it, you will never forget the word of your choice. Okay, finally, number 4. So you might have experienced this a lot when you are remembering things, so you forget things. How to create your memory better? Make a word that resembles. When I was make a word that resembles or is similar. Similar. Sorry, I forgot this one M. So similar words. Create a similar word. When you create a similar word, I remember as a child I didn't know that much about Islamic studies. So when I was having Chauta Kalma Tawheed, if you people remember. So at that time, I remember when I was small, we had Chauta Kalma Tawheed. So when I had Chauta Kalma Tawheed, so there was a girl in my school named Tawheed. So whenever I used to remember the Chauta Kalma Tawheed, so I used to remember about that teacher that we had in our school. So Madam Tawheed. We used to remember about her. Then when Chatta Kalma Radi Kufar, for example, we had. So at that time I used to remember about Ghar. I don't know how I made the connection, but I was a small kid, so I just made some connection that these two have Radi Kufar and Ghar, some kind of connection, caves, etc. Maybe it was something related to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's stay in the cave when the non-Muslims were behind him, but I'm not sure about those things. But I was a kid, so I had this image in my mind. You can create words like exotic. So for exotic, I remember I used to have this rare type of golden chocolate in my mind. Whenever I used to think of the word exotic, I used to have this golden chocolate. Because golden chocolate, of course, gold is very rare and very amazing and very difficult to find. So it is an exotic thing. So for that I used to think of an exotic, very delicious chocolate in my mind. If there was the word nightmare, so I used to think of a reddish, bloodish type of place in my dream. So I used to remember the word nightmare. So create an image in your mind or similar word. Create a similar word for that. And these were the 4 major and easy techniques. Easy techniques. What? Easy, very, very easy techniques. You just need to practice them and you will learn vocabulary instantly, easily. You will not have any kind of problem. So let us remember what we studied today. So number 1, read it with me. Movies and TV shows. What? Movies and TV shows. This is the number 1. You should watch movies and TV shows. If not that, watch documentaries, watch TEDx shows. That are the best if you want to learn English. So the second one is, don't memorize the words. Do not write them down. Just look ahead and use them with yourself. When you use them and compliment others with them and use it in your daily life, you will remember them instantly. Number 3, write and read. Write a word that you do not know 5 times. You will remember the spelling. Then read the group of 5 words 5 times, which is somehow 25 times each word. So you have to read that 25 times the word, and after that, finally, in the end, you will make a sentence with it. You will remember it forever. I guarantee that. Finally, similar words. Create similar word or an image of a word in your mind so that whenever anybody asks you, you had that image in your mind, so you will be able to give the answer. Imagination is the strongest tool with us. So this is all for today. Thank you so much for staying with me. I'm gonna meet you in my next video, and until that time, thank you so much and Allah Hafiz.